Good morning. It's Motivation Mornings with Marnie and Melissa. I'm Melissa Houston. I'm a health insurance specialist in Victoria, BC. And I didn't think of something again. Let's see. I make greeting cards as a creative hobby that I enjoy.
I just love learning something new about you each week. I did not know that. And good morning, Maggie. And hi, everybody. I'm Marnie Dangerfield. I just actually physically waved. I can't believe I just did that. Anyway,
That
I
means you've
wanted
been on Zoom too much, Marnie.
anyway, sorry. I was waving as I said that. Good morning. I'm Marnie Dangerfield. I'm a wellness and intentional creativity coach, also here in Victoria, BC. And I am just been so happy that I picked up my knitting needles again after a couple years hiatus, and I'm knitting a sock, and I'm just loving it.
Awesome. Is it going to be a decorative sock or a wearing sock?
A wearing sock
Awesome.
/ decorative.
You can make it decorative.
Yeah.
Oh, well, today, right now on your screen, you will see court music and dance from Japan posted on YouTube by Buddhist Studies at Stanford. And the reason we're watching this today is it's International Dance Day.
Oh, didn't know that.
So I had lots of types of dances I chose from, but I wanted something that was kind of calm and relaxing.
Well, and it's beautiful. I mean, their costumes, what they're wearing, they're so beautiful. And as you say, the meditative movement. Great choice. Okay, sorry, yes, me. So thank you for this, Melissa. And so just to give a bit of an overview of what to expect, we're going to start off each with what's motivating or inspiring this week. We're going to switch it up. Melissa will go first, and then why? Because after that, Melissa is actually sharing, this is my favorite time of the month, when Melissa shares her financial wellness tip. And then but you're busy today, Melissa. And then Melissa is going to share her contact info and round us out, as always, with the inspirational quotes. But as we do love to start with our values, so we'll start with that.
Indeed. Today we gather
in the spirit of possibility,
in support of community,
to encourage holistic well-being,
to empower our authentic selves,
to share appreciation,
to express compassion,
and to enjoy this gift of life.
Mm-hmm. And Maggie's already started chatting in our little chat box, but if anyone joining us today would like to share anything that is motivating or inspiring them today, please feel free to let us know. We would love to know if something is tickling your fancy. So I am starting today. Okay, switching it up. So today I wanted to share a podcast. That's not a common thing around here, it seems. But I was actually introduced by this podcast from a mutual acquaintance of Marnie and I, named Emma Fanning of Little Fox Design. She had included this in a recent newsletter for her business. And it's called Staying In with Emily and Kumal. And it's about a couple they're making this podcast specifically during this time of self-isolation and people staying in, and that's why they call it Staying In. And they're doing it just to share their experiences and to provide support for people. Kamal is they're both writers, but he is also a comedian. Emily used to be a therapist. And also they do have some ads in the podcast, but all of the profits that are made through those ads are going to charities to help with those affected by coronavirus. So even, listening and supporting it that way is helpful to other people in the world. Um, I, you know how you can hear the same information from different places, and then sometimes it just resonates with you more than others, if that makes sense. Um, there's so many different people out there providing support during this time, and recommendations and ideas for, ways to, um, cope, but also try to thrive in during this time. Um, but I don't know, it's something about them, this couple, how they interact with each other, and like they're Emily is actually immunocompromised, so it's a fairly significant situation for her, um, and she has to take this situation quite seriously, and yet at the same time they are still able to find things to laugh about, and um I don't know, it's really hard for me to describe actually why it's such a good podcast. So you might just, I'm on episode 3, you might want to just check it out. It's just making me a little bit lighter on the inside, if that makes any sense. It's making my day, when I listen to it, a little bit brighter. And I don't know, I feel less alone. That often is the case with, I find, podcasts that are very conversational. It feels like they're in the same room talking to you. So that's just something that is, not necessarily inspiring or motivating, but just making my life a little bit better right now. And I wanted to share.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Thank you. And yes, I get that. I love how you mentioned like you can hear the same thing over and over, but then it's just the delivery and the connection you feel with the people and what they're going through that, yeah, can make it resonate that much more.
Mm-hmm.
I've already subscribed now.
And I will post the link with the recording of this as well, so if anyone needs help finding it.
Ooh, we have a share. Let's
Oh, okay.
see. All right, Maggie. Oh, I have to share that Sadie, my cat, is intensively watching the dancing on the computer screen. Laugh out like,
Oh,
oh, that is so awesome.
aw, little Sadie.
Oh, cat's loving the dance. Well, thank you for sharing that.
That's awesome. Oh, okay, what about you,
Uh,
Marnie? What's got you
so
going today?
what's got me going? So I was going to share about the latest documentary from Jane Goodall called Hope that came out on Earth Day, and I highly recommend it. But
Mm.
that's getting bumped because
Oh.
oh, I just got to read this morning about a mutual friend of ours who's in eWomen's who um, set a goal at the beginning of the year for her and her business and has been working really hard and been really committed. And she just reached a level in her business. It's called diamond level. And to get there, it takes a lot of commitment and work and helping others and such. And she just announced that she made it. She reached that achievement. Now she's got other ones after that, but I just get so excited and motivated and inspired by people who, because it's not easy to stick to goals. It's not easy to even state this is something I'd like to create in my life, and then commit to the steps and the activities day after day. There's all sorts of excuses that can come up and distractions, and she's got kids, she's got, it takes time. There's all the things that can come up to keep people from achieving what they want, whether it's business or their health or creativity, whatever it is. And so anyway, I just get so giddy, excited, and happy when I see people who um, are able to just have something that they're passionate about. And that was it's key. If she wasn't passionate about it, she wouldn't have probably stuck with it. But she found something she's really passionate about, really wants to help, and has really put in you know the time and the effort and been honest about the ups and downs with it too. It's not like it was this straight line to get here. been all sorts of twists and turns and ups and downs, but she held on to that, her goal and her vision, and anyway, I'm just so proud of her, and inspired. So that's what's inspiring me this morning.
Oh, that's so awesome. Way to go, her.
Oh, oh, Tangerine. I don't know. I guess I forgot to say her name, Tangerine. Oops. Sorry. Her name is Tangerine. She's not some mythical creature. She does exist.
Oh, that's awesome. That is very inspiring. Oh, especially right now, because I know so many businesses are struggling. So to have her be able to reach that level of success, even despite of what's going on, that's amazing.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. I meant to say that because it's like there was that too. Things outside her control, and she
Yeah.
still was able to. So it's a lovely reminder that things are always possible.
Mhm. Yes. And yeah, wow. Awesome.
So I've got my pen and paper handy.
You always do.
Love my financial wellness tips.
All
Appreciate
right.
them.
Well, today I thought we're kind of in the thick of tax season. Normally, not today, but tomorrow would normally be the deadline for taxes, but it has been extended by a month. So people are still working on them, although some people may have already submitted them and might be receiving their notice of assessments. So I thought I would touch on some ideas for what to do if you are getting a refund. Um, because that is something, I mean, people generally like getting a refund as opposed to having to pay. But they might not always think about all the different things that they could do with that refund. So, especially during this time, making some wise financial decisions is more important now than ever, I think. So, I got a few different suggestions that a person may not have considered. So, the first thing I wanted to say is to potentially pay down high interest debt if they have a large outstanding debt, particularly on a credit card or something else that has a really high interest rate. Getting that paid down can be a significant help, um, especially if they're having to make payments every month toward that debt. That could potentially free up cash flow considerably in the future for them. So to pay some of that down, really good idea. To start or increase an emergency fund. Again, what we're going through right now, I think people realize the importance of having some kind of financial security fund so that this hit us all so unexpectedly. Like it's one thing to be like, oh well, I might get injured or sick and unable to work, or depending on your industry, maybe work might slow down. But to have something like this where it's very much out of your control, I don't think any hairdresser thought they would be out of work at this point. So it just really hits home the importance of having an emergency fund to tide us over during unexpected times. So if you don't have one already, or have been eating into it because of what's been going on, refreshing that would be a really great idea. Let's see what else. Or if you are doing okay financially during this time, you may want to invest the refund. That is going to help your financial well-being in the long term. With what's been going on in the markets, many people probably have heard that there have been some significant market drops in the past month, largely due to, sort of panic selling of what's going on. And it's not necessarily um, unwarranted because people are worried about the long-term economic ramifications of all this, and we don't really know what that's going to look like yet. But at the same time, if you are investing long-term for, say, retirement, it's still probably a really good time to buy. I would just recommend speaking to a professional about how to invest it, to make sure you're putting it in the right kinds of places, the ones that aren't too risky, um, for the long term anyway. And also, if you invest into an RSP, then you get the added benefit of it being a tax deduction for the current tax year. So that could help your taxes for next year as well. Another thing you can do is to get something you need. Sometimes we put off purchasing larger ticket items that we need, or like improvements for our home, because we don't want to go into debt for those things. And this might be a good opportunity to use a larger amount of cash coming in, well, depending on what your refund is, but sometimes it can be a larger amount, and that could be a helpful thing to improve your life in some way if you've been needing something and haven't been purchasing it because it's a larger amount. It's a good opportunity. Also, to improve your overall financial well-being, you might want to look at launching a new business or pivoting your existing business. So you could use the money to set up a website or take a business course, pay for some advertising. There's lots of things that it could be helpful for to help you bring in more income in the near future. Again, it's sort of the magic of investing, because that's investing in yourself and your future. So um, if you are finding you need a little bit of extra money and have some money to, find a way to develop a small side hustle, or like I said, pivot your existing business, that would be a great thing. And last thing, there's a lot of people in need right now. So again, if you are doing well financially in these times, you might want to donate some of that to charitable causes. Um, and also, you don't need to do just one of these things. Depending on the size of your refund, you could say donate some of it and invest some of it, or take a business course, and put some in an emergency fund. There's no limit on how you set that up. So it's just determining what your priorities are, what would be most beneficial for you. And then I also just wanted to say, if you don't happen to be receiving a tax refund, if you do have to pay something, the nice thing is that the government has also extended the tax payment deadline to the end of August. So this is going to give people the opportunity to see how much they owe, and then they can plan to the best of their ability, if they don't have the money currently, how they're going to save or acquire that money to pay the bill. So that's kind of a nice thing, that it's giving people that opportunity as well to to do a little bit more planning, so that they aren't put in a tough position having to pay a certain amount if they don't have it, especially right now. So if you do I would suggest, getting your taxes, even with the deadline, get them done a little bit earlier, especially if you're not sure if you're going to have to owe or not. And just give yourself a little bit more time to figure all that out. We don't need financial stress in our lives right now. So anything you can do to mitigate having stress is a good thing. So those are my tips for today.
Oh, those are fantastic. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Because it's, what you can, I know for myself, speaking for myself, I can kind of get a bit of tunnel vision and think this is the way, but to just have this so nicely laid out of the different options and choices, and love how you mentioned, like, what's the priority? Like, what is the priority? Getting curious about that, and the benefits. And I did not know that the tax payment deadline had been moved to the end of August. So that
mhm,
also was extremely helpful. Um,
mhm.
so,
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I think that's a really nice thing that they have done to help people out right now.
yes, I'm proud of our government. But thank you so much. This is great. Oh,
All right. Next on our list, contact info. As per usual, here we are. If anyone had some questions or comments, feedback of any kind, feel free to email us at motivation.mornings@gmail.com. And the Facebook page where we post our recordings is at MM with MM. And like I said, we'll also share any resources that we discuss on the podcast or webcast on the recording as well. Then we have our Instagram, motivation_mornings_with_mm, where we just post some reminders about the webcast and the motivational quotes for each week. And then lastly, we have our YouTube channel. That's where the recordings get posted. Feel free to subscribe on there if you aren't able to join us live and like to view the recordings at a later time. That's a great way to get reminders of when the new ones are posted. All right, motivational quote time. I am not a product of my circumstances. I'm a product of my decisions. By Stephen R. Covey.
Oh.
I saw it and I don't know, it resonated with me.
I'm doing a round of applause over here.
So that is Motivation Mornings, everybody. I hope you all take an opportunity to do some little dancing today. Celebrate International Dance Day. It's a good way to move your body, right, Marnie?
Absolutely. Move, move, move. Remember all those hope molecules.
Oh,
They
yeah.
get released. I'm going to do it. Thanks for letting, I didn't realize it was International Dance Day, so I'm going to make an extra effort to dance today.
As am I. As am I. We all need a little dancing in our lives.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I'll look forward to seeing you next Wednesday.
Yes. Thank you all so much. See you next week.
Yeah. See you then. Bye.